Hi, this is Brian Gavados, and before we get started, just a quick word about the situation we're all finding ourselves in. You and I work in the field. We train people. We do product demos. So naturally, our worlds have been shaken up a bit by this outbreak. Well, we here at the training team are adapting at a breakneck speed and are working on content built specifically for helping customers transition to a work from home environment and help keeping everyone safe and productive no matter where they are or what line of work they're in. So more to come on that content shortly. And for today, I'm very eager for you to hear our first interview. It's with a fantastic guest who has a significant impact on our roles, both in store and on the ground. There are some great insights coming your way, so please enjoy this discussion with Stephanie Mollet. Okay, and here we are. We are with one of my favorite people, and I actually do mean that. Stephanie Mollet. We need to understand the person that is you, Stephanie. Hello and welcome to the Mega Byte.
Hello, Brian.
Thanks so much for being our first guest.
Woo!
You did it. For those people who aren't familiar with who you are and what you do at Microsoft, can you just give us a brief introduction?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Brian mentioned, my name is Stephanie. I work on our U.S. channel marketing team. I've been on this team for about 5 years with Microsoft for a total of about 11. Current role is I am accountable for how we show up in stores at Best Buy. Myself and the amazing people that work with me make sure that the stores look great, that we maintain our Best Buy stores, and that we're driving clear and consistent communications to the field.
Regarding your past lives, where'd you come from before Microsoft?
I'll tell you, I came to Microsoft straight out of college. I started as a vendor at the Microsoft stores when the stores had a whopping 2 locations.
Ooh.
So we were a very scrappy team. There were a lot of things in that job that were definitely outside of my job description, but it was really exciting and I got to meet a lot of cool people. I got to go to a lot of store openings and plan for those openings. After that, I went to our worldwide channel marketing team. And so I drove the creative vision for how our visual merchandising lands in stores across the globe. After that, I was enticed to come over to the US team, quite simply because the culture here is amazing.
Well, I'd love to double click into that just a little bit. What are some examples that you really turn to or some individuals who are rock stars in your mind?
Yeah, I think in the last few years, especially after Satya took the helm, I've seen us really embody our company's mission. And I promise I'm not just drinking the Kool-Aid.
Right.
I mean it when I say that, we're trying to empower every person and every organization on the planet to do more. Specifically, I'm super passionate about accessibility. Every single product that we put out into the world has accessibility features in it. Just allowing people with disabilities to be on the level playing field with the rest of us. Empowering every person on the planet to do more is a big, bold statement. But that's just where my heart is and how I'm most passionate about working at Microsoft.
Well, that's a big item for so many people who are representing Microsoft day in and day out to really consider, because for the vast majority of us, accessibility needs and accessibility demos and accessibility features are more aspirational. Whereas what you're talking about it's not just aspirational, it's real life for so many of our users, so many of our customers. I would love to use it now and it's going to transform my life now. And I think that reality check is so important to making sure we have the appropriate passions when communicating what we do to the field.
Yeah, absolutely. The vast majority of disabilities are not visible. People with disabilities don't necessarily walk into a retail location and say, hey, I have needs that haven't been met.
I have needs that you can't even see.
Exactly. If we take the time to educate ourselves about what those features are in each of our products, then we can be demoing those all the time. And I'd be willing to bet that even if the person you're talking to doesn't have a disability, they know someone who does.
Yes, absolutely. Because not only is it a passion for you, but it's a passion that actually has a positive outcome of helping people and sharing that with others. So,
Thanks.
As we relate it to and translate it over to your team, and what does success look like for you or for your team as you get reports from the field or as you get reports and feedback? What is success looking like around the corner for you?
Great question. Every day, every month, every year, we have to make our numbers. So obviously we have a commitment to the company to drive the sell-through of our consumer products that keep our company going. Where I always look at success for our team is, how do I remove the barriers for our field teams so that when something goes out to our field team, there's not a whole kind of churn of questions. Well, how do I do this? Why are we doing this? For me, it's really about that balance of if we can both be hitting our numbers, but also doing what is right in removing barriers to understanding or clarity or barriers to purchase. For all of those that our products touch, that is success to me for our entire organization.
So you mentioned overcoming the barriers that the field team experiences from time to time. That's part of what makes your role a success. Do you have any examples of maybe one of those barriers that needed your attention to get through?
Yeah, definitely. Just most recently, we have had a lot of conversations about how do we drive promotional awareness. We have so many products that are on promotion at any given time. Like, how do you wade through that and really understand what are the top things I need to understand, and what are going to go drive sales? People learn in so many different ways. And so if you want to serve up information, you're going to need to serve up that information in more than one mechanism, i.e., your new podcast. So let me give you an example. We have for years relied on physical printed signage to drive promotional awareness, but our promos change. They can change sometimes on a daily basis as we're trying to drive our business priorities or push through some more inventory on a SKU. Going to a more digital format in how we deliver promotions for our field is a massive push for us. And we're still using the signage. I mean, there is many times you can't replace signage on a table, but having it in multiple formats for us is super important so that everyone can consume that in the way that they're most comfortable and will help them retain the information. More to come on that. It's something I'm really super excited about, but can't quite talk about yet, is how we get away from that signage on the table.
Oh, what a tantalizing teaser.
That was just for you.
A lot of the feedback we get from the field when we do our big events, in-person events, and can interface with them directly is that they want to know the perspectives from those at Microsoft corporate. What are you looking at that is impressive to you? What are the kind of behaviors you see that really make someone shine? And I guess on the other side of that coin, what are some of the common pitfalls you see that might be worth paying special attention to for anyone working in the field?
Oh man, that's such a good question, Brian. I mean, I wouldn't have a job if we didn't have a field team. So I try not to lose my perspective on that, because if you all weren't out there selling every single day, I wouldn't have a role to be here supporting you. I'm immeasurably grateful for that, and I will forever be. The things that impress me the most, though, and the folks I think who tend to be really successful on our field team are those who don't necessarily always just boil it down to common denominators or make assumptions about the people that we're working with. I see those who are able to really pivot their approach and almost chameleon a little bit, because, again, you're meeting them where they are. When I think about pitfalls, it really has to do around making use of the resources, or rather not making use of the resources and processes available to you. I know that a lot of times you feel like there's a lot of distance between you and the corporate team, and some of the things that we do may really make you hit your head against the wall. Like, why do they do it that way? It feels so hard. It feels so, like extra time. Why can't I just go get this done the way I want to?
Right.
But I'm here to tell you that we do those things the vast majority of our processes and our resources that we build. We're doing it for a reason. Microsoft has really stringent rules around compliance with personal data, compliance with how we spend our money, compliance with how we treat the customer, and respect their, both their self and their data and their identity. And so a lot of what we do is blending between how do we maintain compliance and the respect of the people that we service with our products, while also being able to move very quickly for the field. Continue to push us, of course, but don't make the mistake of just pushing it aside or ignoring the resources or ignoring the process on account of maybe you think there's a better way. Work with us. Give us the feedback about how you think it could be done better.
I've seen it firsthand how feedback from the field makes tangible differences in the decisions corporate makes. And so I totally back you up on that and encouraging people to make use of the existing comms vehicles, because big changes are made by the feedback we get from the field.
Oh, I couldn't agree more, Brian. I mean, it is some of the best things we implement came from our field team.
Before we leave, I would like to ask one final question. Do you have any advice about growing your career within Microsoft? The field often has that, it's a bit of a frustration from time to time, not knowing what the next step would be or how best to show up great. Any top tips that you can share about advancing your own career within Microsoft?
It's hard for me to choose one, so I'm going to choose two. My number one has always been maintaining your authenticity. It is something I very much believe in. It has been both a blessing and a curse for me at different times in my career because I haven't always done it right. Let's be honest. But what I found is the sweet spot is where I can be authentically me, but also maintain a level of professionalism, the grounding myself in what the business needs or what the customer needs, but delivering it in an authentic way, good, bad, or otherwise, you're going to get a genuine Stephanie. So authenticity, while maintaining professionalism, is definitely my number one. My number two is mentorship. I think that a really healthy mentor relationship can be everything in your growth. But don't just expect to go into a mentor session like, you ask someone to be your mentor and you go into your first session with them and you're super excited and you're a little nervous. And then you walk in and you're just, mentor me. No one knows what the special sauce is for you either. Like, don't be afraid to get a little self-exposing with your mentors. Don't be afraid to tell them about the things you're struggling with or what you're trying to work through right now, whether that be a good challenge or a tough challenge. The reason you chose this person, this mentor, is because number one, you look up to them. And number two, there's got to be a certain level of trust there. Come to those mentoring sessions with clear ideas of what you need from them.
Steph Mollet, thank you so much. This has been a real pleasure, and this has been supremely valuable, and I can't wait for everyone to listen.
Well, thank you, Mr. Gavados. I always value my time with you and with our field.
Oh, sorry, we're just running out of time, so it sounded like things were getting a little complimentary there, so we just had to cut it off. I'm so sorry about that.
Oh, well, we'll get to that next time.
Thanks so much.